Attention shoppers, we've got to clean up on Aisle H.
What the other wolves think?
A true crime cleanup on Aisle H.
Diabolical.
Starting now.
Oh, he's telling you that she's bats.
Howdy, Holeheads. Kurt Money here, alongside my co-host,
Kateline.
and we are here to talk about a Dateline again. We're back.
Here's Blayne Alexander with Malice.
We're back to Dateline. I don't think, it's not like we came back because we have a banger on our hands. And I suppose I'll get your thoughts on that in a second here, Kate, but let me read the IMDb. You ready for this?
Uh-huh.
This aired February 27th of 2026. Officials quickly rule a Georgia man's death a suicide after his wife tells authorities that he shot himself. Believing there is more to the story, his family hires a private investigator who uncovers troubling details. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good description.
Pretty good.
So, Kate, tell me your overalls. I mean, there are things in here I think Kateline would enjoy, and there are other things that I think she'd hate. So I'm curious. What is Kateline going to say as soon as I shut up?
I liked this episode. I hated a lot of people in it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And some stuff made me laugh out loud.
Big time.
But not because they were intentionally funny, because they were so cringe or insane.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of that, too. I agree that there's not a lot of people to root for. Now, obviously, we're rooting for the victims and the fam and stuff, but, like, there are just players in this, heads of departments that are just so damn stubborn.
Yeah.
That they're my new thing I hate a lot, aka coroners. I'm getting heated at coroners again today. All right? It's happening.
The coroner's role is especially frustrating to Jake's family because Rachel had pleaded with him at the scene.
But you know who was great? Blayne.
Blayne crushed it. Absolutely. You're right. She had a few moments where I was like, oh, okay. Like she kept asking the cues and stuff in the face of blatant lies and treachery.
She didn't shy away from it at all.
Ugh.
She also wasn't sassy the way Keith would be, in like an offensive way. She was still very cordial and polite, but getting the truth at any cost.
Keith, yes. What about maybe J-Mank more with his roast mode, where he is okay to be like, to roll his eyes at the people. But you're right. Blayne did a good job of being like, no, my foot is down. You're going to answer the question I asked, but I'm going to be super polite about it. And I was like, I thought it was
J-Mank would have been like, Valerie.
Yeah.
Really?
F you.
He'd go, the dog? That's what he'd say. What do you think? Although, look, let's wait, but that did not break the rule. It depends what we think happened to the dog.
Jake's dog Zoe started having stomach problems too.
Anyway, let's kick that. I don't want to start talking about dog death, so be in the early parts here.
Okay.
When I was watching the app, I go, does this still count? But I think it does. It just depends on what you think happened to the dog. What do you think?
Yes.
Okay. What?
Yes.
I didn't want you to feel like I was sneaking it in. When the dog stuff went down, I was like,
No, it wasn't as... It wasn't as like, well...
The bottom line is the dog was super sick. We don't know why.
Right.
And all that.
No one shot the dog in the face.
No. It's not like the one app I wanted to do that you said no to. That was some hardcore dog action that you would have not enjoyed. Okay? So, okay. All right. Let's see. You know what? It was kind of fun to be back in the Dateline swing of... There's something about defense attorneys when they appear on Dateline that it grinds my gears.
Yeah.
Is that shocking to hear? But there's something special about when they're on Dateline where I'm extra mad at them.
Well, it's interesting because even my boy Jerry Buting, who I love, when he was on his episode of Dateline, you kind of didn't like him. And you would only like him if you knew him and you saw Making a Murderer, or if you had met him like I have. He's a great guy. And then he came off awful in the Dateline.
Well, he was, I forget what app that was, but he was on the side of a monster. He was on the side, he was working for a team that was representing someone we hate. I forget who it was, but it's like a classic hate for us. I just know he popped up in something recent where it's like, dude, I don't know what you would have to do right now for me to root for your side, because you're repping a real stooge.
Well, he reps criminals.
Fair point. So as you can tell from the description, this is one of those, like, was it a suicide or was it murder kind of things. Now, without giving answers, I just want to know, do you have an answer?
I think it was...
Well, I said without answering.
Oh.
Maybe. What do you think? Just a little suspense here.
I have an answer.
You do have an answer. Okay. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that it happens and is said by the people in question in this app that make me despise them Some people don't earn any points this ep, and yet, at the end, Kate, I'm not sure which way I lean. So
You're pulling a Kateline today.
maybe. That's why I'm excited to get through the deets so I could be like, okay, but let's list them, okay? There's this, there's this, there's this.
This is a role reversal. I'm usually the one going, yeah, but... And you're like, what?
Yeah, that's true. All right, our story begins in Albany, Georgia, June 28th of 2014. We hear a 911 call. Frantic. This is Susan Embert. She's called 911 because her husband Jake shot himself, and she is flipping. Tell us about this 911 call. What's her vibe?
Well, she certainly sounds distraught.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Now, it's this emergency. Yes.
It sounds like she just discovered her husband having shot himself, and she's freaking out. She's on the phone with 911, but she's also trying to get a hold of her stepson. During the phone call, the stepson arrives, and she's like, okay, he's here. I can see the police. Like, it's all happening at once, and she sounds kind of how I think I would probably sound.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's later when we hear more of the call where I start to go, ooh, she's doing Columbo villain stuff, where she's giving a lot of suggestions of what could have happened.
But in the beginning,
Give
they
it a
just
lot
give
of
us
suggestions.
they just give us the bare bones of the call in the beginning, and it's like, yeah, that sounds right.
That's true. And what's interesting is right away we are talking to Susan. I mean, she's a main talking head this ep. Mm-hmm. The person who found the body and is the wife in this scenario. We are talking to her first thing.
I didn't know what happened.
So the son comes home. What's weird was he had just left to pick up his girlfriend because he and his dad, they were going to go to like a car show where I think they were going to watch one of his cars race.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if they meant his because he loves a 75 Thunderbird or Firebird or whatever, but did you get the impression it was his car physically? Like it was Jake's former car?
Yes.
Me too. And that's interesting to think about, that the son was just going out to get his girlfriend and then he comes back and his dad's dead in his pajamas.
Yes.
Because he's laying on the bed. There's a gun at his side. And hey, Dateline, not a blur in sight. Not a blur in sight.
I mean, we can't see his head, but the rest of the body we can see.
Yeah. They usually they blur that with a quickness. I was kind of surprised to see kind of a stiff body in PJ's line there. I was like, the Dateline. Ooh. Mm-hmm. Okay, son comes home. Susan's flipping out. He doesn't know what's going on. He calls sister Rachel, who was 30 at the time. She races over there. Now, Rachel is a main talking head this ep that we get the scoop from in a number of ways. Am I looking at Rachel with a side eye? No, I'm not.
Blood splatter on the floor, never cleaned up.
But there's some things where I want to go like, Rachel, what do you think? What about you? Or no?
I didn't feel that way at all.
What'd you think about Rachel? Tell me.
I thought she was on the up and up. Nothing about her bothered me. I felt like her head was in the right place the whole time.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I'm more thinking of her VO that she supplied to the crime scene walkthrough on the video footage, where I was like, just kind of roll my eyes at how she was saying it and stuff. But I guess we could talk about that.
She thinks her father was murdered, Kurt.
Yeah, but look, my issue is not that she keeps crying and she's sad about it. That's not my issue. Is that she's like, this. Anyway, we'll get to that.
I would do the same thing.
This dripping on the wall is possibly, I'm assuming, brain matter.
So the sister shows up and the cops are here. It was nice to be back in the world of day one dinguses. What do you think, Kate? Was this fun? Is fun in quotes when I say that? Possibly. What are we hearing? Because their body cams are rolling. So, like, we've got this whole crime scene mic'd for an hour, it seems.
Well, I think this is pretty open and shut myself. I mean, I'm no CSI guy, but that looks like a suicide to me.
Now, you're thinking like, okay, Kate, that's a little offensive. No. That's the draw this guy was working with, and he was saying real dumb shit like, this is obvious to me. This is obvious.
I mean, I'm not no CSI kind of person or nothing like that, but, I mean, it's obvious.
And then the other guy, it's his first day on the job. So he has absolutely no idea. So he's looking to this redneck as the one in charge who knows more than him.
And you know that this redneck was like, this is the first time anyone's looked to him for power or like authority. So he jumps into it. He's like, well, it's clear as day. It's a suicide. It's clear as day.
And isn't it interesting how no one else in this entire episode has that accent?
Oh, come on. Well, I guess she lives in North Carolina. Yvonne kind of does, doesn't she?
No.
Not really. The only person who had an accent like that is the wife's
Susan?
ex-husband.
Plural, husbands. And boy, I can't wait to
Yes,
talk
but
about
one
that.
of them in particular who went on the stand, he had a pretty
Yeah.
thick draw. But everyone else just sounds
Yeah.
normal Georgia.
But yeah, this cop, I was like, dude. It was really reminding me of the cops in Fotis' garage that were like, you see the dent there? Do you remember the dents in there? Anyway,
And
I was right
you're
back there
thinking-
with this one.
You're thinking like, yeah, you say yourself you're not a CSI guy. So
Yes,
where are they?
Yeah!
Call them.
Yes! Excellent question. These are first responding, these are beat cops, right? These were the people that were nearest when the call came in, okay? So they're in there, and now we meet Yvonne. This is Jake's sister, who lives in North Carolina, which is about 600 miles away. Now, I would know that because I lived in North Carolina. I'll brag about it. But also, they said it in the show. So you don't have to fact check me, Kate.
No, I know you lived in North Carolina, Kurt.
Okay, sweet. Just make it sure. Talk about, I was trying to remember what my other callback was for this, and now I remember, Kate. We're talking to Rachel, and Blayne's like, did your dad have any sort of philosophy that he followed? And do you know what I was thinking of here?
No.
I know what it is. His dad's philosophy is going to be charge the mountain. Oh. Of course. Charge the mountain, everybody.
Charge the mountain. Remember how I got really steamed about that?
You were so steamed.
I have an issue with Charge That Mountain because it doesn't account for the inherent privilege that someone like them would have.
This is kind of the same, but not as obnoxious. Were you annoyed by this? It was like, always try 100%.
Not at all.
Try 100%. It was basically the same thing.
Of course. Try 100%. He never said, if you do that, you will excel. A plus B equals C. He just said, yeah, try it.
All right,
To
fair.
me, that's way better advice.
The charge
if
the mountain.
you're going to do it, do it. But don't expect nothing from it now.
Okay.
He just always put himself full force in anything. If he committed to something, he was going to just see it through.
Boom, charge the mountain, very funny. Okay.
Charge the mountain in the notes.
Oh, big time, in all caps. So Jake was married for decades, I want to say, 20 or 30 years, and then he got divorced in his early 50s, and he's lonely and stuff, and he hits the apps, doesn't he?
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
As someone who's been on those apps, we both have, you and I.
Yeah.
Well, you had pretty good luck pretty quickly, but some of us have been on those apps for longer than you, and I didn't meet my husband on those apps.
Right. Where'd you guys meet again? I forget if you can tell me. Was it Trek Con or something? I forget.
Yeah, Kurt, it's a Star Trek convention.
Well, you guys got married at a Star Trek convention. Whew, I threw it right back at you there, didn't I, Kate?
Don't you think that would be a little too much?
If you met there too?
If we met there too.
Possibly. Look, I'm just glad you guys made it work, because while I did marry the third person I went on an online date with, I also divorced that person, and then I dated one more person from an app 8 years ago. And that's my record. So I don't really have any room to talk here, Kate.
Was that the Taco Bell girl?
Yeah, that's her. That's her. Susan was cracking me up, sometimes for right reasons, or maybe it was all right reasons for me because it was like I'm annoyed at her and she's being dumb. And this was one part where Blayne was like, so what was it about Jake that caught your eye? And you know what the first thing she said was? Oh, well, we're about the same age. That's true love, Suze. You hang on to that one.
Look, when you're living in rural Georgia and you're on them apps, there's someone in your age group who doesn't look like a thumb.
Yeah.
It's on and popping.
Yeah, that's not a bad point. Honestly, when I think about this of how he so quickly was getting action and stuff, I'm shocked because my experience, I don't know. Never mind. I guess I don't want to talk again about how many times I swiped right or whatever, never heard anything.
But
Maybe
also,
what I'm getting at here.
You were doing it in Los Angeles.
True.
Very, very tough scene.
Yeah.
Albany, Georgia.
Piece of cake.
You could clean up.
You're right. Man, maybe I should hop on there. Okay, they get married, but then immediately after, Jake has a heart attack. Instantly, he needs to be taken care of. So Susan moves in, and she's like the nurse. And this is the beginning of a long downslide for Jake. What goes on here?
So he's having these heart problems. He also starts having seizures.
Yes.
More than one, which
Yep.
they were all very confused by because that's not typically a symptom of cardiac issues at all.
Yeah.
And he's just getting worse and worse, and it's really affecting him emotionally because he can't be the independent guy he once was. He's not able to do the things that he liked to do. and he's just getting kind of depressed.
Yeah, and you know what this makes Kurt think of? This is primo setting the stage for Fear Thy Napes. This is absolutely what happens to one side of the battle in Napes all the time. Injured older man who can't work anymore is very bummed about it. Anyway.
Okay.
His health problems led to financial problems.
So Susan moves in, and he is super sick. 16 months later, he has a massive heart attack. So now this is 2 heart attacks, multiple seizures, and now he's getting like nauseous and throwing up and stuff. And this, the family's noticing. Like you said, he had to miss work. Then his dog, Zoe, gets sick, and Susan takes Zoe to the vet, and then Susan comes home alone. Why?
She says that when she took the dog to the vet, they couldn't do anything for it and had to put it down.
Yeah.
Why not call home first and say, hey, you should come say goodbye to your dog?
Yeah, there is a world where Zoe is super sick and they say she's too ill, we'll need to put her down. There's also the world where we both know, dealing with vets and stuff, they are extremely comforting about losing your loved ones. There's no way that they'd be like, I'm sure they offered like, hey, don't you want to see if Jake wants to know? Mm-hmm. But I could see her being at the vet being like, no, he's too busy, he's sick, he's dying too, whatever, let's just do it. But I mean, she came home without the dog. This was the big one where I was like, whoa. And Susan.
Do we know for sure that she even took it to a vet, or is this all what she's saying happened?
That's a good question. Because I were Jake, what's that?
If this dog were being intentionally made sick, the vet might have picked up on that in any tests that they ran. So she might not want to take it to the vet. She might want to just get rid of it herself.
Possibly. I don't know how testing for poisons work in dogs. But yeah, so dog gone. So there's a question mark over that.
Dog gone.
And we're...
Dog gone. I'm quoting
what?
The X-Files. Sorry.
Doggone. Doggone. Doggone.
Yeah, I got it.
I wrote Deputy Dingus Parade, look out, because now we get more quotes. And this is when he said the thing of the CSI thing, but I mean, it's obvious.
It's obvious.
Very funny. And we could hear Susan in the background telling the EMT about he was suicidal and stuff. And the coroner pops in, takes a look around, self-inflicted. Done and done.
Do we need to retain this, the weapon?
I don't see why.
The fam's pissed. Now, real important, what did the attending detective think about the scene, Kate? What did the detective assign to this murder or this death? Because one was assigned because it was a death. What was their takeaway from the scene?
They agreed.
No, Kate, no detective showed up to the scene. Not a one.
Oh, but they had one assigned. They just didn't go to the scene.
They didn't go to the scene. Yeah.
No one processed the scene.
Collect evidence. Test forensics. Interview witnesses. In the case of Jake Embert, almost none of that happened.
Day after the death. Also, we're going to find out that they weren't even on the scene for less than an hour. The whole processing. So basically, after less than an hour, they hand the scene back to the family and go like...
That's insane.
I mean, that's one of a million crazy things that happens here. Day after the death, Susan changes the locks.
You're guilty.
Yeah, see, these are all things I put in the column of, that's pretty suspicious. But I don't have a smoking gun yet, though, is what I'm feeling. These are great points that we're making here. I just... Yeah, I don't know.
Changing the locks on our home.
Why?
That part. Why?
We're talking to Rachel, the daughter, and this was also a little bit of like a they said kind of thing between family members. Rachel's going, she said we couldn't have a memorial because he didn't know anybody and didn't have any family in town. And then Susan says, I did, but I wasn't ready to have it yet. And they had one and didn't let me come. Like, this is real bickering stuff where I'm like, I don't know who to believe. And I feel like there's other things to focus on. I don't need to reward one or the other here. What do you think?
Well, I think Susan's a liar. And
yeah, I'll sign off on that.
I think even if the memorial had been 2 months later, she wouldn't have gone.
Yeah. Okay. Yvonne calls up the detectives to be like, yeah, you say it's closed, but that's not true, right? Because my niece Rachel was on scene all morning saying, what if it's not? Like, what if it's a real death? What if it's a murder? What if it's this? And we hear the detectives say some stuff that boils me. You know what? It is what it is. And that's what was decided. So, I mean, if there's something I could do to change it, I would.
You know, it is what it is, and I mean, I can't change what happened.
Don't ever say that to Kurt Money.
Well, we know from past episodes, Kurt, once the coroner makes their decision, it's final. You can't change it. Except you can.
Except you absolutely can. And we're going to find out you don't even have to be a cop to do it. I can't wait to talk about that, Kate. How that guy got them to look at stuff, because we're going to find out here The coroner, they're like the king of their own little...
King of the castle.
He thinks he's king of the castle, and he's got like nobody to lord over, so it's just him down there. Like, he doesn't have like a chief of police coroner he has to answer to. It's like they decide yes or no, and their hands are freaking clean.
The coroner made it official. He documented Jake's gunshot as self-inflicted. Open and shut, it seemed.
So then she looks up, she gets a private eye, and this is when she Googles through tears and finds the name Lee Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I got a lot of thoughts on old Lee. What'd you think of him? Did you like his spiffy little shoes?
I liked
What'd you
him.
think?
His teeth were kind of upsetting me.
Yeah.
When he talked, you could only see the bottoms, and they were all jacked up and a lot of gum visible. And look, people can't help their teeth, but I can still judge them for it, okay?
Absolutely. They were a little wonk. And I've got nothing against this guy. I guess, here's a question for you. You're hiring a PI in 2026. I might be a touch on the ageist side, however incorrectly it may be.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like so much of what a PI is today has to do with like being able to get into Facebook and stuff.
And we know olds can't do that very well.
No, and maybe that's not fair to me, but that's what I would think about in these situations. When he answers the phone, I'm like, are you familiar with Instagram? Because I feel like that's what this is going to be, sadly.
Give me a Veronica Mars.
Yeah, there we go. But there's got to be old school PI tricks, that like old shoe leather stuff that this guy can bring to the table. But I just think when it comes to finding out info, it's gotta be internet stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Okay. He wants to look at all the paperwork on the death. He wants to know what happened to it, what they do, how they process it, where's all the evidence. And this is when he finds out.
Turns out, no evidence, no processing, nothing.
No forensic were done at the scene whatsoever. Now, I was under the impression, however foolishly, that it was illegal to not do an autopsy on a suicide or treat it like a murder. I mean, we've heard people on shows say it's a murder until it's not. Mm-hmm. When they find a dead body. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've heard that.
So I don't understand how they don't have to show up, and they don't even... So what they are basing it on, because friggin' Blayne's going to talk to this coroner who loves himself. What he's basing it on is, well, I went in there and I see what was going on. And, I just based it on what they told me at the scene. And Blayne's like, okay, well, they just looked at a gun next to a guy. I mean, Rachel won't shut up about how it's a murder, so...
I said over and over, are you sure my dad did this? Are you sure my dad did this? Are you sure my dad did this?
So this coroner walks in there, hears from the wife, again, as we all know, prime suspect number 1. She says it's a suicide. Cop, who's like puking in the backyard right now, he says it was a suicide. I'm out of here.
The guy whose first day it was, he was puking because he couldn't handle...
Yeah. He'd never seen a dead body before.
He'd never seen a body before.
Oddly enough, this is the Doherty County Police Department. They didn't want to talk about this case with Dateline.
Oh, you're kidding.
They tried. Yeah, it was weird. So at this point, I'm liking Yvonne because Blayne's like, I've only known you for 2 seconds, but I could tell you get stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
And Yvonne's like, yeah, girl, yeah. However, red flag went up at her reaction to PI. Do you remember what she said in response to PI?
No.
So Blayne is there, and she's going, PI, that's like something straight out of a movie. Blayne says it, and I'm like, right on, girl.
Kick ass.
But before she could say movie or TV show, Yvonne pipes in and goes, foreign. What? What, Yvonne? The idea of getting a PI is foreign to you?
That sounds like something you hear in
foreign.
A movie or a TV show.
I don't even know how that's offensive. I just think it is somehow. What do you think?
That did not strike me, Kurt.
What about when I tell you this right now? You don't think it's weird that she said a PI sounds like a foreign thing?
No, I think she meant that was foreign to her because she never thought she'd be in the position to need to use one.
All right. Well, now I'm not going to put it in at all, but boy, did that kill me. I can't believe that didn't jump out to you.
About a 9 on the tension scale, Rube.
Lee, the PI, he talks to this, I assume, quiet guy that he was there, and we hear a recording with him, and he confirms that they never did any other follow-ups or anything.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you're right, sir. And this is when the show reveals that the coroner did not do an autopsy. And we talked to the coroner, and here he is. How many times can this guy say, based on what I knew at the time? Based on what I knew at the time.
You didn't think his body needed another look?
No, I was pretty well comfortable at that time, based on the information that I had at that time.
Was that a mistake?
No, I don't think it's a mistake. Based on the information I have at that time, I'm basing it on that.
The whole reason, I wanted to give him credit for appearing on the show, but the only reason he's here is to say, I didn't do anything wrong, and the decisions I made were based on facts I knew at the time. And those don't fly. Neither of those fly for me.
I would say you can't argue with that.
What?
He's right. All we can do is make decisions based on what we know.
But his job is to do an autopsy, though.
Yes, but what do you think the autopsy would have shown?
Well, for one, gunshot residue. Done. That'd have been an insane help. It would have told us if Jake pulled the trigger or not. That'd have been step one.
Okay.
So right there, boom.
Do you think he would have found evidence that he had been slowly poisoned over the last year?
No. Well, he would if he tested the hair. I don't think this guy would have done that. I don't think he would have done that. Maybe if they tested it and if there was no gunshot residue on him, absolutely they'd test for ethylene glycol. Absolutely they would.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I'm thinking about this, and I'm getting real mad at this cop for not wanting to do his job, and this coroner, and I'm like, look, maybe they're busy. Maybe they see 1,000 suicides a day. Well, hopped on the old Goog.
To the Goog.
How many suicides were there in Albany, Georgia in 2014? And the number I'm about to give you is for Dougherty County, which Albany is in. This is not just Albany. In 2014, there were 8 suicides.
I thought you were going to say 1, Jake's.
Well, that'd be good too. But 8. So this is not something that is on their plate every day, is the point I'm making. There's no way they're like, oh, another one, like how they treat missing persons.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why this guy, first day on the job, who wanted to be a cop, wouldn't be excited about the idea of like, let's secure the scene. I mean, that would thrill me. I'm not a cop. It sounds fun as hell.
Or to be super suspicious and want to dive deeper just to make sure.
Yeah, and that's why I don't understand. Again, if this was a big city or something, I don't get the coroner's attitude. We'll find out later what it is that the coroner's referring to about what changed his mind, ultimately.
Then I go back out and see what's going on.
But it is so funny how he just keeps going back to the fact of like, well, I surveyed the scene or whatever. And Blayne is like, so you looked at the body and talked to a rookie. And he's like, based on what I had at the time. He just repeats it and repeats it.
Not great.
Based on the information I have at that time, I'm basing it on that.
But at least, so no gun test residue. They didn't interview anybody. Okay, they didn't ask the son a word. Son is at the crime scene. They don't ask him a thing. But they at least took some photos. Okay? And Lee Wilson, the PI, gets his hands on these photos, and he is beside himself. What do you think here?
He knows right away that that's not a suicide.
Why? What are his smoking gun moments for him?
He says, by the way the body is positioned and the way the sheets are kind of stretched a certain way, it looks like he was positioned like that after the fact.
Like they tried to pull the body up on the bed more.
Mm-hmm. To prop it up. And the way the gun is kind of sitting in his hand, cradled next to his hand, looks very suspicious.
Yeah, because it's not, his 2 fingers aren't on the trigger, they're on the base of the gun, and it's kind of underneath his leg.
Yes.
Now,
as if the body had been scooched up and kind of over it a little bit.
But they showed us those photos, and Blayne busted them out on an iPad, and I think Blayne is on my side here. I didn't see that. Now, later we're going to hear some things that I absolutely believe you can tell from this photo.
So this is Jake's right hand. Mm-hmm. Jake's left-handed.
But I'm looking at this going, you can't tell they pulled him up on the sheets. You can't. That's not underneath him. It's just a fold of his pajama pants is slightly overlapping the gun barrel. Like, that's not under his ass.
I agree. I couldn't see what they were talking about with the sheets.
Yeah.
Where it had been stretched a certain way. It just looked like what the sheets do when someone lays on them. They kind of stretch.
Yeah. And this was another part where I want to give a high five to Blayne because she was not budging. And she was saying something like, so tell me what you see in this picture.
Mm-hmm.
Great wording, Blayne.
Because it's not what I see.
It's not.
Look at the rippling there.
What does that say to you?
Somebody's trying to pull that body back up onto the bed.
Because she's so clear. Because this is the thing. This is what I want to share with Lee Wilson for future Datelines. If you have a bomb to drop via photograph and you're like, this is the smoking gun. If you don't get the point across just by throwing the photo in front of them, and you have to literally go, you see this in the photo and how this is like this, you already lost him, dude. You already lost him. Drop it. What do you think? He looked stupid. He looked real dumb in here.
I'm reminded of those parents who were adamant that their son wasn't a murderer because of the nose in that video, and you can't see shit.
Yes.
But at this point in the episode, we kind of still think, man, this is maybe a suicide.
Yeah, I mean, because I want to believe his points there. Absolutely, because like I said, Susan's driving me nuts. Okay?
I don't have nothing to hide from nobody, and I still don't.
Just guilt-wise that way, I'm throwing the key away, but...
Also, they had been talking about how the son had left and was coming right back, and they were going to this thing, and nothing about that morning seemed almost appropriate for a suicide.
Yeah.
But I was thinking at this point in the episode that that's kind of how it happens sometimes. That people don't understand that it's, you know, they say like, he had all these things on his calendar scheduled. He had appointments and things he was looking forward to. He never would have done this. And that's just not true. As someone who has personal experience with this, of course, it's never a convenient time to do a suicide. And why not in the middle of the day when you have stuff planned? I mean, what difference does it make? So I felt at first that these family members were grasping at straws and really struggling with this, making excuses of why this could never happen, and that he didn't seem like he would ever do this. But I'm like, yeah, if you're depressed and you have medical problems and you're in pain every day and your life has been reduced to staying in the house and losing your independence, of course.
I agree with that. And anytime the family was like, I know he wouldn't do it, that's white noise to me. Nobody ever knows.
Nobody ever knows.
And so people
are very good at hiding how they really feel, and you don't have to be intense therapy or heavily medicated and all this stuff.
Right.
You could seem completely fine.
Rachel was just going hard on, I kept telling him, my mom wouldn't do this, my mom wouldn't do this. And I just want to go, Rachel, every single family member they've ever talked to tells them this. You've got to come up with something a little bit better. Now, ultimately, I think this whole thing is screwed because of how bad the crime scene was. I mean, there's nothing, you can't do this right now. The opportunity has been missed. But I don't know. So now the family, this was cool. Dateline, I mean, freaking Blayne was boots on the ground with this case. Okay. They're doing interviews before trials, after trials. Blayne's at the verdict. Okay. Blayne's there with him afterwards, just being like, good job. Right?
Yeah.
It was clear that just getting up there and talking was hard.
Well, it's hard when she's looking at you.
That was pretty sweet. And this was so cool. Is the Blayne VO, is she goes, the Dateline team had Rachel ask a judge, like she applied to become executor of his estate so that she could have access to his records. This was Dateline saying, hey, you should get in there. I don't know. Is this kind of like you're not supposed to get involved in the story or Dateline? I don't know.
True journalism doesn't involve themselves, but...
I know.
Can't be a part of the story. Can't be a part of the story.
All I'm saying is...
But then there's Blayne front and center at the trial. So...
Rachel petitioned the court to become executor of his estate. After Susan found out, she left Albany.
When they do this, that's when Susan says, "Boo, I'm out of here." So now the family's suspicious Susan. Now they've never really... She's been weird about stuff before, and we talked to the son, Will, again. He had lived with them for a brief moment, and he said they were always fighting. She was always yelling, always accusing him of cheating and stuff. And also, Will was bummed that he was not included in the quickie wedding that they did. Did they do a Vegas wedding, or this was like a Justice of the Peace thing?
I think it was Justice of the Peace, yeah. It was very... Susan says that he asked her to marry him over and over again, and she kept saying no, and then finally one afternoon said, all right, let's go. I don't think that's true.
Me neither. Susan loved telling that story too, and I was like, I don't think it's just cute, Sus. This ain't cute.
Also, you should both want it. Like, I don't like when it's like, oh, he pestered me, or she was adamant, and I kept saying no. And it's like, well, that doesn't make the other person feel good. You should both really want to at the same time.
Absolutely.
But I think they think that's like a cute story. It's part of the chase.
They do.
But I'm going, ew.
This time, the answer was yes.
Yes! Also, this is a red flag for marriages. If they do the quickie thing without telling the fam. Now, I'm sure we can get a lot of people to call in and say, happily married, 25 years. That's how we did it.
But how does the fam feel? They don't like it, and they just haven't told you.
Yes, the fam hates it, absolutely. And I think in some cases, it's a little cruel. Like, we've had it where it was like the first wedding, and the mom just wanted to see the son go down the aisle. There's that kind of stuff where I'm like, how dare you? But I've been watching a lot of like relation-based killer shows. Like one that we're going to do soon called Bride Killer. Not Bridezilla. Bride Killer. Nice. Kate, have you heard of that?
Nope.
The beauty there is it go both ways. You're either killing brides or the bride's doing the killing. So now...
I'm in either way.
Exactly. There are 6 episodes in that show, and 3 of them, they got married without telling anybody. I just think, don't do it. So then Rachel brags about hacking into her dad's Facebook account. This is another thing I laughed at because I'm like, oh, you mean the post-it that was underneath his keyboard?
Right.
Okay.
I hacked into my father's Facebook account. I figured out the password.
But she hacked in there. She's seeing tons of Facebook messages between the two. And what's this bomb she discovers in this sea of Facebook messages? What did Susan tell him not days before the wedding?
Susan's old ass claims that she is pregnant. And I'm going, sure, Jan.
Sure, Jan. Now, who does that remind you of? We've had, I'm going to say 2 words and you're going to know instantly. I'm pretty sure this is the ep. Friggin' Mustang Sally.
Oh,
Wasn't
yeah.
she the one that said she was pregnant at 55? And all her friends were like, no, you're not.
Yeah, same deal. Her plan, her
Yes.
brilliant, foolproof plan to trap a lover by saying she was pregnant.
Yeah, lay that out for us.
Becky is in her late 50s.
Mustang Sally.
I mean, I don't know how old Susan was exactly, but too old to be pregnant.
Yeah.
Was she in fact pregnant?
Oh, absolutely not.
6 weeks after the wedding, Jake is telling his fam, all right, Susan's bugging me. I got to change the beneficiary. Now, this is the reddest of flags to us.
Absolutely.
We're over here in the future going, Jake, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Jake, don't.
Always just leave it to your kids.
That's what Yvonne says.
And I said, Jake, you have an underage son.
And he goes, Susan will take care of her well. No, she won't.
No, she won't.
Not just Susan won't, but I don't know, a lot of, I think, brand new widows wouldn't either if they had just met this husband that they had to care for, like wipe his butt for 2 years or something. I feel like she's probably like, I'm out of here.
Totally. And to think he's that naive to think that a woman who he basically just met would give a shit about his kid.
Yeah, dumb.
No.
Okay, so now Lee, we're with the PI still. He's wanting to find out more information about Susan, so he digs into her past. And this is where
it gets good.
This one of the funniest moments of the night is we hear just a line from each from 2 of the 3 ex-husbands. What do these exes, basically in unison, have to say about Susan?
That she's a lying psychopath.
She is a psycho booze hound, and the way they say it is funny as hell.
She used to drink, but I don't know what she does now.
Right, but when y'all were married, it was the drinking.
Oh, good God almighty, was it ever?
You know, she's always been messed up in the head. I mean, there ain't no 2 ways about it.
Oh my God, so good.
And he digs up her record. Turns out she's been arrested a bunch.
Yeah, and I'm glad they listed them, because I need to hear what the offenses are for me to judge her from afar. And the DUIs suck, very dangerous, get her in trouble and stuff. That doesn't make her kill her.
No.
And the other things were trespassing. I mean, that could be she walked through a golf course or something, right? I mean,
I feel like that's she went to her ex's house and he called the cops.
Yes.
Like that's what it is.
Probably...
It's drama.
Yeah. So that's, I don't know. She seems like drama for sure. She seems like a real handful with a drinking problem. But finding this laundry list of old things.
Her record includes convictions for trespassing, resisting arrest, and several DUIs.
At this point, she's bolted town. The kids are not talking to Susan anymore. But the kids tell Lee about, they basically relay to him what Susan said happened the morning that it all went down. And this is their issue with her, is that she tells it 3 different ways to 4 different people.
She's very inconsistent with what happened.
The first thing she says is, I was coming out of the shower and then I found him.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing is she's just getting out of the shower.
But then later that night, in the exact same day, she tells a second story. I was at the computer desk. I heard a bang and I went and found your dad. Okay?
Yep. She said, I was by the computer desk.
Later down the road, Blayne is going to ask her what happened. And she's going to offer a third thing where she says, I was looking for my vapor cigarette. Hilarious thing to call a vapor cigarette. Very funny.
Mm-hmm. I went to get my vapor cigarette, believe it or not. Yeah.
Okay, she did say 3 different things, but I'm here to argue that being post-shower, grabbing your vape pen, and being at the computer can all be the same thing. The vape pen is next to the computer. She's got her towel on. She's going to dry her hair. She went out to the computer to get her vape pen. So she's at the computer when she got her vape pen. What do you think?
You're not wrong.
Okay.
But I still don't believe it.
Okay, but this is the stuff where I'm like, just take a step back, Kurt, and look at this from the outside. There's a way that all those things overlap to me. It's not like she was at the store and then she was here and then she was there.
You're doing what I do, so I'm not mad at it.
Okay.
Good, honey.
A few months in, Lee's still digging. Okay, he's convinced this is fishy. Who does he get a call from? An angry lady. Oh, it's only Susan herself. to say, why are you trying to find out stuff about me? Why don't you just ask me? But if you did ask me, I wouldn't answer, and I didn't do anything.
A totally normal thing for a person to do. Not guilty looking at all.
No.
You're asking questions about me and stuff. I don't understand why. If it's any questions, I'd rather not answer any because I haven't done anything. I can say that.
There is a supercut in here somewhere of her guilty ass answers to questions because she will repeat and trip over herself and then restate what she said in the first breath. It's just such classic lying bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. And we hear some of the calls, and Lee was saying that, oh, she was just fishing. She wanted to know what they had on her. And then here's the other funny thing is that we're hearing Susan give her sob story. And then she starts saying, you know, they closed it down June 28th, and I cry every night. I still cry every night.
I cry every single night, okay? Every other day about this stuff.
And it's like, so your reasoning for why you have nothing to add is because the cops said it was a suicide and that you're still sad about it. These are, again, lying answers. These are what liars do.
What is the term? Lying liars.
Ecstatic?
Lying liars and the lies.
I was ecstatic.
Yes. I think the most frustrating thing about listening to Susan is the fact that she uses words incorrectly.
Later, we're going to hear that she maybe meant hysterical, which I'm not even 100% on that. I thought maybe inconsolable. Hysterical probably sounds the closest.
Yeah.
But don't worry. I'm going to be saying it because there are two separate times, they're 20 minutes apart, where she says the word ecstatic, and I'm going, oh, I can't wait to roast the hell out of this lady on the pod. And then later something happens. I couldn't believe it.
They do it for us.
They do. But let's not spoil that just yet. But it is a thing where she's saying these wrong words.
But it's making, the way she says it, it makes it sound like she's really excited and happy that her husband killed himself.
Yeah.
She doesn't understand that that's what ecstatic means.
I mean, honestly, she kind of sounds like Kim post-murder, TBH. Remember Kim with her steaks on Easter and stuff? She was joyous.
How
what do you
could
think?
I ever forget Kim?
That's what it reminded me of when she said ecstatic. I was like, I don't think you want to sound like that.
It was a cold day. There was excitement in the air.
So now the family's going, boy, it's pretty funny that our dad got sick and near death as soon as he started getting with Susan. And not only that, but his dog too. So now they're really trying to go back of go like, what has she been responsible for? And it's like, she fed him and the dog. She gave him meds, right? Like,
yep.
So something could go down in here. Here's one thing I'm going to push back on this. And they kind of mention it with the heart pills or whatever. It wasn't until they're talking about nausea and stomach aches that I go, those are symptoms from poisoning. Seizures and heart attacks aren't, as far as I know. I mean, they even say that your heart pills don't give you a heart attack. I mean, we've seen a ton of poisonings. Seizures and heart attacks are not a symptom.
The heart attacks were real. He was in poor health. But I think you can get seizures from poisoning.
Really? Well, I'll say this, and this is one of the biggest reasons why I'm kind of on the fence. So while I don't think she's gotten him sick off the jump, I do think as soon as he started having those tummy aches, I think there's reality where Susan was like, this, I just married this guy, and now I'm going to be his keeper for 20 years, wiping his butt. I don't want anything to do with this. So then she did start poisoning him, thinking, well, he's sick and going to die soon anyway. I think that's a very real possibility.
Could be.
So remember, the body was cremated the next day, so they want to test stuff, but there's nothing to test. Yvonne has a good idea. Don't you dare call her detective, because she's not. But she said, bag it, baby. Go to his house, get one of Jake's brushes, pop it in a paper bag, not a Ziploc, because what do we know? Cut off that oxygen. Destroys DNA. I'm surprised she knew that. What do you think?
But Kurt, she told us how she knew that.
Yeah, she watched a certain program. What was it? It's a show we're familiar with.
Well, she said, no, I'm not a detective, Blayne. I just watch a lot of Dateline.
Boom. And you know Dateline's putting it in there. And you know Kurt's marking it.
I was pumping my fist in the air.
Yep.
No, I just watch Dateline.
Okay, Blayne is talking to Susan of like, well, the family said this and the family said that. Blayne's like, hey, you told the family you were a nurse, and they thought you were a nurse, and that was one of the benefits to you being with their dad and living with him was because you were a nurse. Turns out you're not, though. What's up with that?
And she says, oh, I never said I was a nurse. I said I work in the nursing field. I work in the medical field.
Yes.
That I had a nursing assistant certificate from like 20 years ago or something.
Yeah, she's got a ton of certificates. Again, these are bullshit signs to me where I'm going, lies, lies, lies. You were never a nurse. And the way when she said, I've got a ton of certificates, that says to me like she's a universal pastor. She can marry people if she wants. These are all internet-based certificates, right?
Yep.
She's going to go, I've got a star named after me, okay?
Totally.
I said in the nursing field and the medical field because I have a lot of certificates and stuff like that in the medical field.
Blayne is like, okay, so everybody's lying about you. The son, the this, the this, the this. And she goes, yeah, I don't even know why. They don't even know me good enough to lie about me. They don't know me. They don't know me.
They don't know me. I don't know why they're lying. I have no idea.
Again, these are liar reasons, I think. What are you talking about?
She's not doing herself any favors.
No, I'm not sure she says a single thing tonight where I go, okay, good point. Right?
And yet you're still on the fence.
Yes. Yeah. Ultimately, because there's nothing to prove it. Is my problem here. This is very Kateline of me where it's, yeah, if I want, cave justice, okay? Kurt Money got the gavel in his hand, guilty. She's out of here. But it's kind of tough for me here because there's nothing to pin it because of pure laziness. Keeping us down at every turn.
I mean, it's obvious.
So Lee Wilson, he's got his case now. And this is where he takes it to the DA and the coroner. And I guess he's just allowed to make a presentation. He must be old friends with these guys, right?
It's got to be something like that because in what world can the PI just be like, hey, it's my case now and here's the evidence?
And to have both the DA and the coroner, I assume it's this stubborn asshole coroner guy, I think it's Finley or something, they both said, okay, you're right, it was a murder. They change it. They change that to homicide, don't they?
Yeah.
The coroner changed his findings on Jake's death certificate from suicide to homicide.
So why was he allowed to make that presentation? How did the coroner say, okay, I guess you're right? This was a shock to me.
It's got to be only in a small town kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true. And he used to be a cop, so maybe he has friends or whatever, but I don't know. I'm imagining, we're very deep into Rockford lore because of our Murder Mystery Recaps app that we dropped a week or two ago, okay? So I'm still thinking about it, and I'm going, Jim Rockford would never be allowed to present a case that they would agree with.
No.
Never in a million.
A judge would see him come in and arrest him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just for wasting his time.
Exactly. Now, speaking of Rockford, and this is a perfect timing for it, this was smooth. This was smooth on my part. High five, Kurt. When it's changed to homicide, that's not what Susan calls it. How does she say it?
I don't know.
Homicide.
Homicide.
They said Georgia wants you. I said, for what? And they said, homicide.
Just like Rockford.
She said homicide. I was like, woo! I think it would just made me want to watch Rockford again. So anyway, she is guilty of homicide.
Getting a homicide a night down here.
And this is when the DA adds a poisoning charge, but I'm trying to think, is this when they... Oh, yeah, because they sent the hair off from the comb.
They tested,
and
it comes back positive.
But has that happened yet?
Well, it has to be. They wouldn't arrest her for poisoning if it hadn't come back.
But the tests come back and they show that there is antifreeze, among other things, like poisons in his bloodstream. Because you can tell with hair, like you could tell up to a year or two, like when someone was poisoned with stuff. That's another thing that happens on FF left and right. But it comes back as showing positive for antifreeze. Now, there'll be a twist with this later at the trial, but I'm shocked that they're allowed to use this DNA because it was from the family member.
It was not collected with the proper, what's it called? Chain of
command or whatever, chain of evidence?
Chain of custody.
Okay.
It was not collected with the proper chain of custody. It was just the daughter going in there and getting it. And there's no way to prove that it's legit.
Well, you can prove if the DNA in the bulb of the hair says this is Jake Embert or whatever the hell his name is, then it does prove it. Like, they can go back to the source and get their own sample if they want to.
But that piece of evidence can be thrown out in trial completely because it wasn't collected properly. It's useless.
I'm aware of that, and we're going to talk about that because that's what's going to happen in like 10 minutes. But I'm asking you, it's not like they didn't think that was a possibility. Couldn't they have gone through the right channels to get it?
Yes, but I think that was part of the PI's pitch. He had to do all this stuff first to get them on board to reopen the case. If he had said, and we think there's poisoning, you guys, or even like we should run it again, you guys should collect it properly, run it again, so we know it's going to hold up in court. But again, I don't think these cops, because they're dinguses, really understood that.
I'm not no CSI kind of person or nothing like that.
Yeah, and later the defense attorney is going to be like, you can't trust that You can't trust that. I would have said, well, if you're so concerned and you think it's such a phony, go get your own DNA from that brush. And if there's still antifreeze in it from over a year of poisoning, I think we've got to call it fact and not fantasy.
Yeah.
It wasn't evidence. It was just fantasy. And it was just absurd.
So they're thinking, okay, well, if she poisoned him, why the hell did she shoot him? And I get this. He had a doctor's appointment coming up. And so she's going, uh-oh, I might have been poisoning this guy for over a year. They're going to do some sort of test and it could come back, right? So now this makes sense motive-wise. She's like, I got to kill this guy and cremate him before they can give him a toxicology test.
Right. That was pretty short-sighted on her part because she's married to a man who is sick and has heart problems. She had to think that he was going to be seeing doctors pretty often.
I hear you. I mean...
But she's dumb.
Okay, this is crazy. Susan's on the stand, and this is where we get another bomb drop. And again, a point where I'm going, what is going on here? She drops 2 huge bombs about Jake that no one in the world has ever heard. And that is that he's gay and has, quote, transmitted diseases.
When she said this, I laughed out loud.
Jake Embert was gay and had transmitted diseases? What was Susan talking about?
I did not see it coming. It is so stupid. It is such a bad lie. And even beside all that, the fact that the lie you choose is also like really bigoted and up.
Yeah.
You couldn't pick a lie that was just sort of politically correct. You had to also show that you're an asshole with your lie.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Blayne calls her on it. And she's like,
I never said that.
I never said he was gay, and I never said transmitted diseases. I said PTSD, not transmitted diseases. And they made that mistake. And this one, Blayne goes, well, good thing I brought an iPad here so we can just listen to it together. That was good. And she plays it. And what do you know? She says the gay thing and transmitted. And Susan goes, I didn't hear that. I don't hear that. When I listen to it, I don't hear it.
Yeah. She also says that she never told him that she was pregnant, that never happened. And Blayne's like, but we have the messages that you sent. And she said,
you're right.
I didn't do that.
Yeah, well, I took a pregnancy test and it said positive, but I knew I wasn't. I didn't think I was pregnant. I didn't know.
And for her to say, I'm just going to play this right now, and you look me in the eyes and say that you said STD. And she just does another classic lie answer where it's the same words jumbled. And she just rambles on and on. I would say, no, I didn't because I didn't do it. Okay.
What would you say to those people?
I'd say, no, I didn't because I didn't do it.
We talked to another husband of hers, an ex-husband. This has got to be the third we didn't talk to because he's singing her praises.
Yeah.
Isn't he?
Yeah. He says she's, in his thick-ass accent, that she's great. That she's not capable of any kind of malice.
Yeah. Malice. Interesting word choice there, Kay.
Malice.
So she is convicted. This is the first trial. Convicted. Life in prison. Everything's good. Then this young upstart lawyer gets her case. 4 years later, she goes, wait a minute. Some shady stuff went on with these jurors. One of these jurors was a convicted felon.
They can't serve on a jury.
They said like there's a process you can go through to get your license back to vote, but this person had not gone through it. And this is another moment where I kind of like this DA that she's talking to, because there's 2 moments where he just kind of goes like, ooh, yeah, that's on us. That's on us. That's my B.
Oh, now we check.
Just double down on making sure that that's reviewed.
So she gets out.
They release her, but not only that, this is insane. So we're thinking new trial because she didn't get a fair one. But then this young lawyer pulls some nonsense that I could not agree with in any stretch of the imagination. And that's that she goes, well, you know how they're entitled to a short and speedy trial or whatever.
A speedy trial.
So if that trial doesn't count now because one of the jurors was no good, that means that she's never gotten a trial yet. And that was 10 years ago. So I guess you should just drop the charges altogether.
And it's almost like saying a trial never happened in the first place.
It's exactly like saying that.
Now I would go, nice try, lady. Nice try. But what happens?
They don't need to do a trial.
They agree. They drop the charges.
It is so dumb because you could say that for any appeal. Any appeal. I mean, I guess that this wasn't an appeal, so it's different, but anytime there's a new trial, you could just pull that card.
Yeah.
And there would never be new trials.
That's what I want to know. It's like that one guy in Promise to Gloria that, remember when the needles couldn't kill him because they couldn't break his skin?
Mm-hmm.
And his lawyer tried to say like, well, you said you were going to kill him. You couldn't kill him. So I guess that means no charges. He can walk now. Remember that? the lawyer's like, well, you didn't succeed, but you did technically kill him. So that's what this seems like to me.
Yeah.
That's what this argument is.
It's a weird technicality that doesn't actually make sense.
Yes. But the prosecution says, no, we're going to talk to the Supreme Court real quick. Great news, Susan. Trial's back on.
Mm-hmm.
I loved this. It's crazy to me that something could be overturned. She could be let out of prison on a life sentence. And then prosecution goes, are you sure, though? And they're like, okay, we'll do another trial. Doesn't it seem kind of wild?
It does.
They get a new trial cooking. New lawyer for Susan says, you got to get rid of the poisoning. This is where I was so mad at him. Where he's like, the DNA came from the Vicks family. And the place that did the testing, well, they were shut down for misconduct. I need more info here, okay? He's saying that the place that tested the DNA on the hair that told us antifreeze was shut down for misconduct. Does that mean
every case they ever handled also gets thrown out? Or is it right? Or is it just like 2 workers there were having an affair? What does it mean?
That's what I want. That's what I need to know for me to decide whether or not I'm still going to count that. Like if it's misconduct because 2 people dated that worked together or something, I don't really care. Retest it. Like, is the misconduct that they were lying about results?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I need to know this detail in this moment because I'm not ready to cross it off. Because again, I say, well, hey, dude, go get it tested by one of your people then. See what they say.
You heard it here, folks. In Kurt Money's court, he needs more details before he's going to make any kind of judgment.
That is exactly right. Okay, this was another huge freaking laugh thanks to the coroner. So they're going to do the trial, but the judge says, listen up. Both sides, listen up. No poisoning in this trial. We're not going to talk about the poisoning at all. You're not allowed to talk about poisoning whatsoever. Everybody says, you got it, Judge.
Mm-hmm.
Coroner, Mr. Know-It-All Smarty Pants, Mr. I stand on that. He gets up to that stand. And what falls right out of his mouth?
Antifreeze.
He says antifreeze. And we hear like the brakes get checked in court. Like everybody's just like, sir.
Objection. Judge is like, all right, that's it.
The information that I received now about the hearsay, the antifreeze,
No, sir. It was that word.
Antifreeze.
That was so funny. And the judge couldn't believe it either. She was like, so I guess this trial's over. You can go home now. For now.
Mm-hmm.
So the case is over for now.
What's even funnier is the defense of it. Because one, I was mad at the coroner. Because I'm like, great, dude. But he says...
No one told him.
Nobody told me that. And I believe that. Mm-hmm. I believe that the prosecution is so in their own bubble, they don't think to give that heads up. Like, because he was adamant. He was like, nobody told me this. So they go to this DA. The DA who was like, yeah, well, we do that now, but we didn't then. This was my favorite reaction from him. He goes... Well, that might have happened. If I said it didn't happen, that could probably be lying. So, again, might be.
Well, I can only anticipate that maybe that might have happened. Maybe that did slip through the crack. So I can't say that did not happen.
Like he has a real
double.
But I love
speak.
Double speak, but he owns up to it. He just basically says like, yeah, we up on that one big time.
But why did the coroner even mention it on his own anyway? He didn't discover. No, he didn't look at the hair and discover it. He wouldn't have even known about it.
Now, this is where I want to ask him, because the reason why he says antifreeze is because he's saying his tried and true answer of, based on what I knew at the time. He keeps saying that.
Does the Michael Fowler of today regret not ordering a medical examination of this body in 2014?
And I said I will still stand on what I did on that part.
And it's in this moment where he's describing what he found out after the fact. And what he's referring to is that the test results had poison or had antifreeze in them. So now that was enough to get the cause of death changed on the death certificate. But by the same laws as how it was thrown out before.
It's exactly like saying that.
Does that revert that decision to make that a homicide go away now that we're not allowed to consider the poisoning?
I don't know. But also the poisoning alone wasn't what made him change the death certificate. Because he died from a gunshot wound.
But he is saying on the stand, he's saying what it is he learned afterwards to make him change his mind.
He shouldn't have even been talking about what he learned afterwards. It's all very up.
But I liked hearing it because that's all I wanted from him is like, well, what is it that you found out? And so then when I find out it's the poisoning thing, I was like, well, but that doesn't exist anymore. So anyway, this guy again, scot-free. He's probably still coroner of this town, living it up.
Jesus.
So at one of the other trials, there's this guy named Buckner. He's another guy that had an accent because he was the one that called him Mr. Jake and all that. They love doing the Mr. and Mrs. first name. Mm-hmm. Big Southern thing. Mm-hmm. And he had said he went to go buy his friggin' Firebird or whatever, he asked Susan, like, well, why is he getting rid of this car? It's dope. And she goes, well, he's not going to be around much longer. Ooh.
Ominous.
Very.
I was like, well, what's going on with Mr. Jake getting rid of his car? And she was like, well, he's not in good shape. He's not going to be here much longer.
Okay, so now that's good to know. Now we're at the third trial. They bring Buckner back on the stand, and this time he goes, oh, also, what I forgot to tell you, jurors, is that Susan, the defendant, sent me nudes.
We love this.
She, in fact, sent Buckner semi-nude and nude photographs of herself.
Oh, my God. And his reaction was, next time I see Mr. Jake, I'm going to show him all these photos. I'm going to show him. I love this Buckner guy. He's loyal.
Of course she sent nudes.
Of course she did. Of course. Again, she just gives me a lot of Mustang Sally vibes. I think they would get along, those two.
Except Susan never was just, like, shirtless. Remember? Mustang Sally was just...
Took her tits out in the interview. In the interrogation.
All the time. I think
crazy.
she was doing it for the guy.
Oh, yeah.
Because this woman is clearly dick crazy.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, a man's in the room, top's coming off.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so now is when we talk to the defense attorney, this one of the current trial, and where Kurt gets super pissed because everything he's saying is making me so mad. Like, he's like, they bring up the fact that, like, hey, you know, Jake takes antidepressants. Sounds like he might totally kill himself then.
They wanted that to be this big mic drop. And they're trying to catch the family off guard. Like, did you know? Did you know he was medicated? And they're like, no. Who cares?
Yeah, and the prosecution is about to own this so hard in a second, but I just want to say, I thought the stigma thing was over.
Uh-huh. Maybe in the Deep South it's not.
If the stigma's over, that's not a bomb drop to go like, well, then of course he killed himself. He saw a therapist. Is that really what you're suggesting here?
Mm-hmm. That's really what he was suggesting.
Yes, and that infuriates me to no end. And then the prosecution gets up there, and what does he tell the jurors, Kate?
That it's really common that he's on antidepressants. We're all on antidepressants.
Yeah, the headline there is that he takes them. He says, I take these pills.
Am I a murderer?
Yeah. That's a good move. I mean, I was like, hey, good for you, dude. Because let's be real, the judge probably is too. Like, it's not just people that are, anyway. And he also says, this is the lawyers talking to Blayne. He's like, she just says words wrong sometimes, like a static. She thinks that means hysterical. And they literally play the clips back to back through the episode. And it was awesome.
This is a person who kept saying, I was ecstatic that day.
I was ecstatic.
And she means hysterical.
Does that mean that she says it all the time? Or was he in the room when she was giving her interview? He may have been there to monitor what she was saying and being like, nope, we can't talk about that. Or, yep, we can't talk about that.
But then why didn't he shut it down? I guess maybe the trial happened after that interview. So that was the trial is when he heard her say it a second time and he's like, duh. Boy, that's pretty funny. I mean, this was great. I kind of wished it was somebody on the prosecution that pointed it out. I didn't like that it's the defense like trying to take it back. They're owning it now.
The prosecution could have been like, look at how dumb she is. She says words wrong.
Yeah. I mean, that's not a sign that she's like forgetful and mixes stuff up. She's a dum-dum, dude. She's a dum-dum. So both Rachel and Will are on Team Dad. They're like, somebody killed our pops. Susan, we hate you. We're not talking to you. Now, Susan's got her own daughter, this half-sister. What do you think Will and Rachel think of what was her name, Angel? I didn't write it down, but there's a sister that we talked to.
I don't think that they have much of a relationship with her.
No, I don't think so either.
But, when the kids are grown and the parents get married, they're not obligated to have a relationship. I would bet a lot of families may never even meet each other. It's just, if it's like a third or fourth marriage, who cares?
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking about that too when she's saying my mom would never kill herself or she would never hurt anybody. She'd never hurt anybody. I'm like, you don't know, lady.
You don't know.
You're an adult when this happened. Well, great news. After all that, freaking guilty. And Dateline did the classic Dateline tease 3 times. Boy, you really thought it was over then, didn't you? It wasn't over, was it?
That's where the story ends.
You might think. Not this time.
So how many trials did there end up being?
Freaking 3. And she gets life and all the good stuff. She's gone.
And when they read the verdict, she kept turning around to look at people in the gallery. And I felt like there was nobody in the gallery.
The son gets the last thing. And he's right when he's like, the people who are to blame are the system, the detective, the cops who showed up, the detectives who didn't show up, the coroner. This is why I'm so on the fence is it's impossible to do this with anything more other than the brush hair DNA test because everything was so screwed. Like, you can't investigate this anymore. And I want to put those people on trial. Bring them over to Kurt Money's courtroom, okay? I want that first responder. I want the lazy detective. Okay, who else?
The coroner.
Oh! Get the coroner over there. Yeah. So he sucks. So now it's end of the app, and we had this is a wild ending. This is definitely a first for us. Now, keep in mind, this is about a 6-week-old episode, but it's Lester going like, hey, if you know anything about Nancy Guthrie, friggin' call the FBI at this number, dudes.
Right.
Wasn't that wild?
And really sad.
Yeah, because here, I mean, we still don't know. It's right. It's like 2 months in. Very sad. But that was so surreal to have Lester on a Dateline being like, call this number if you know anything.
One especially hit home for all of us. The disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, Savannah's mom.
All right, well, I think that brings us to our lists.
Kate's unnamed list. Okay, well, it's a small town, but they didn't really talk about it like it was a small town. I can't remember if Susan retreated to Florida or Texas. Can't remember.
I don't know. I guess we'll let Future Kurt ding or buzz us here.
Investigators tracked Susan down in Florida.
There was a car, but it had nothing to do with the case, the Firebird or whatever.
I feel like that's why he wouldn't kill himself that day. I feel like he'd want to see his car race that night. Do you think that's wrong? He could do it when he gets home that night. It's not like he can only kill himself at 11 a.m.
So now you do think he was murdered?
Did I not say I was on the fence, Kate? I mean, these are my concerns here. These are my concerns. This is what I'm trying. Every time somebody's like, people grieve differently, or this or that, or you don't know, people will make the bed and then kill themselves or whatever. I'm just a little sticky on this because, again, his car was going to be in a race that night. I feel like you'd want to watch it.
Was there a military thing?
Well, I don't know if you were going to count it or not, but he was in the military.
Right.
The dad, R.A.P. Jake, but he ran the household with military precision.
He had this military discipline about him.
Oh, absolutely.
You counting it?
I'm going to count it.
Counting it. Okay.
But that's it.
On to Kurt's Kick-Ass List.
Kick-Ass List.
So one of the guilty verdicts, she was guilty of two kind of murders. There's the murder with malice, and then there was another one.
Susan was arrested on charges of malice murder, felony murder.
And I just want to go, what makes it malice? That a dog was involved? What do you think? What makes it a malice murder? It's extra mean?
Just really cold-blooded.
Okay. I mean, that is the name of the app and the name of a killer early 90s thriller starring your guy, Bill Pullman, and also Alec Baldwin and Nicole Kidman. You were just sucking on Bill Pullman not 2 weeks ago. So you're not thinking like, why did you say Bill Pullman?
No, I love Bill Pullman.
Okay, sweet.
There's a lot of things I'd like to suck on him.
So yeah, I don't know if they're referencing the movie, but I am right now because it's a dope movie and you should watch it.
He cuts off all their hair. What do you think he does with it?
Now, other things that are on the list straight up. I'm not no like kind of CSI person, but it's obvious.
I'm not no CSI kind of person or nothing like that, but I mean, it's obvious.
Welcome, Dingus. You're on the list. Blayne, just like a movie.
Sounds like something you hear in a movie or a TV show.
And this one, Yvonne says, just like a foreign guy. And Kate said, no problems here. I think I got one more. Of course.
Dateline.
You're a detective. No, I'm not. I watch Dateline. Boom!
No, I just watch Dateline.
3 things. 3 list items. 4 if we're counting Malice. You got anything else, Kate?
Nope.
And on that note, I'm Kurt Money.
I'm Kateline.
I mean, it's obvious.